a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. There's Troy laughing with his gin and a grin, telling stories about where he's been. Boomer's got whiskey, he's loosening his tie, chasing dreams under a midday sky. The bartender knows us, he's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment we're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. The sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Salut and welcome. Happy Friday to all of you. Hope you are looking forward to a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I know that I am. Let's get into it. Starting with, I want to say hi to, well, he may not be here in the chat, but I want to thank Tim Hayes for returning to membership. I had not seen him come off the roll, and I did not see his status change, so he may have done exactly what happened to me about 6 months ago. There was something with his payment, and he needed to update his card or something like that. It happens, but it means that he made the decision to continue being a member, and I can't express my gratitude enough for that. I really do appreciate that. Big Al presents as the Cuba Libre. So simple, so yummy. Happy Friday, Liquid Lunchers. Have a great stream, my friends. By the way, for your information, Films with Friends, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, the 1963 The Raven from Roger Corman. All-star cast. I love that movie. But it's The Raven in name only. It's a little odd. I'm sure you guys will talk about that tonight. But there you go. I happen to be a big fan of the Alan Parsons Project. I think it was Alan Parsons Project. Pretty sure that's who it was. Had an album of tunes inspired by Edgar Allan Poe, and their song "The Raven" it's literally the poem "The Raven" set to music. It is actually quite brilliant. I'm sure it must be out there on the YouTube somewhere. Take a look and see if you can find it. Hail to Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube. Fluff Chick Productions, and a wonderful, wonderful channel member and Blue Wrench. Merpaw! It's back to the dilithium mines. I'm sorry to hear that, Mark. But hopefully you're looking forward to a wonderful weekend. Lynn says that was weird. Page loaded, then froze. I am here. Yeah, YouTube is weird. Don't know what to tell you about that. Remember, you can also catch this stream on Rumble and on X as an option if YouTube is giving you a consternation. Yes, so Samuel Proctor said that he felt it was odd that Cash said, I'll see you in Valhalla. I said, yes, you should have said, I'll see you in Stovo Kor, where the Klingon honored dead go, which many people have analogized to Valhalla. Welcome you, Sarnji. Good to see you, my friend. And of course, Netter of Netter's Network, stopping in to call me the love of her life before she goes into endless work meetings and wraps up her work week, as we all should be, so we can enjoy our weekend. Hail all, smash the like button and enjoy the show. I love Jonathan Conroy's consistency and his wonderful support of the channel. And likewise with a Geek Flag with Nate Knows. Nate says, like, share, subscribe, comment, and become a member. And membership gets you a month's worth of Monday's movies. So become a member. Join the fun. I'm just not a sports person. I'm a satisfied member. There you go. Thank you so much, my friend. The guy was turned in by his family in Washington County. Good. That tells you that, there are human beings in this world who take responsibility even for their family members. It's absolutely ridiculous. What a disgrace to their family name. I would do likewise. And let's see. Matanui stops in to say hi. Hi there, Matanui. Good to see you. Wilkie's Movies and Music. So yeah, it's we will be as soon as this stream ends, and I'll try to end it a little early so we don't run over. We will all carpool over to Wilkie's Movies and Music for a liquid lunch raid. Great way to start the weekend. Looking forward to that. The Poe-inspired films were a big thing. Some more by title only. Yeah. Exactly right. Oh, you have an allergy appointment. Okay, fair enough. That's okay. Just fill me in, and we'll make that happen for you. And Big Al is looking forward to Wilkie's Movies and Music, and joining him in a couple weeks for Pumpkinhead. Okay, that's going to be awesome. Good. I'm glad you guys were able to work that out. Sounds like a good little collab there. There's a great reading of The Raven by the YouTuber Bob Gimlin, I believe. He usually narrates Bigfoot encounters emailed to him, but occasionally does other stuff like that. I think I might start doing some of that myself. I did... was it last year or the year before, I did a reading of The Little Matchstick Girl for Christmas time. And I got some really good responses on that. Maybe I should do some more of that. Welcome, Curtis Selby. Yes, it's lunchtime, but I have to go to work in about a half hour. I understand. FKHC 2005, our wonderful supporter and follower, Tim, says, just stopping by to say hi. Back to work I go. I understand. Tomorrow I'm going to watch The Sound of Music for the first time in theaters. Yeah, a lot of these... there's been AMC... Their stock has dropped. They are not doing well at all. The theaters literally are only staying alive by showing old films, because this has been a terrible month for the cinema. But you know what it's a wonderful day for? It's a wonderful day for drinking. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let me share my screen. Entire screen. Share it. Here we go. The Cuba Libre. Yes, as Big Al points out, a simple drink, but a good one. This comes to us from a site called Umami. I was very pleased to find an article that gave this otherwise very straightforward cocktail its due. So let's get into it. The Cuba Libre gets its bright tropical flavors from the freshly squeezed lime juice that is nicely complemented by Coca-Cola and some good rum. When it comes to making a delicious Cuba Libre, cocktail that is balanced and refreshing, muddling the lime really matters. In our tasting, there was a clear difference between a muddled and non-muddled version of this classic rum cocktail. So as you know, muddling means, it's not just squeezing it. You take that, that tool and you grind it into the, and it's a hand juicer is what you're doing, but you're stirring up the pulp, and you end up getting a little bit of the pith in it as well if you're really going at it, and that brings some flavor and some texture to the drink. Your mileage may vary on that, but in all things, if you're the one making the drink, you make it the way you like it, right? What the muddling does is release the oils in the lime. Okay, that's basically what I was getting at, which rounds out the flavors in the drink. We also tried making a version with Mexican Coca-Cola, but couldn't taste any difference compared to regular canned Coca-Cola. Yeah, so if you drink a regular Coca-Cola and a Mexican Coke, the huge difference is the difference between American high fructose corn syrup and Mexican cane sugar. You can absolutely taste that distinction. However, once you start mixing it with lime and rum and so forth, those subtle differences get completely lost. Same thing, you could, if you are doing a gin martini and you use vodka instead of gin, you may or may not even notice the absence of the juniper floral notes. But again, your mileage may vary. Anyway. That's funny, Mark. Yes, it's very, very sensual. Very sensual, the way you make a drink. Oops. I don't know why it just jumped on me. Oh, I must have clicked oh yeah, that's what I did. I hit the link there. Which rounds out the flavors in the drink. We also tried making a version. Okay, I said that. Yeah. Wherever you go, though, whatever you do, though, don't call the Cuba Libre a rum and coke, which is an altogether different drink. The Cuba Libre is a more complete cocktail with an interesting but overlooked history. To find out more, read why the Cuban Libre hates being called a rum and coke. Honestly, the difference is the lime. It is. A rum and coke is literally a rum and coke. Shocker, I know, but the name says it all. A Cuba Libre is essentially a rum and coke with lime, and that makes a difference. That really does make it a cocktail and not just a mixer. We also have an old-fashioned Cuba Libre, which is a unique take on both the Cuba Libre and the old-fashioned. Not getting into that tonight. Here is the recipe. Where is the history I was looking for? Am I on the wrong link? Yes, this is the link I was looking for. Okay. One of the problems when you learn to drink in small bars in the middle of Minnesota, thinking the writer of Cocktail knew something about good drinks, is that you never learn about the rich history of the American cocktails. How to Drink, the YouTube channel How to Drink, has a video about the drinks from Cocktail. As are all of his videos. It's very funny, very entertaining, and I might at some point have to do not my own version of his video. He's much more well versed in these cocktails than I am, but since I have never tried most of the cocktails rattled off by Tom Cruise in the movie Cocktail, I should begin a series of just trying each one of those drinks for a series of weeks. We'll see. Maybe I'll even do a cocktail watch party. You guys let me know if you'd be interested in that. So you end up spending lots of time drinking cheap mixed drinks and arguing whether or not it's worth the money to buy something better than the rot gut on the rail. This struck home the other day when I was reading Vintage Spirits and Forgotten Cocktails and came across a recipe for Cuba Libre. Having always believed a Cuba Libre was nothing more than a fancy rum and coke, I was surprised to learn it was something completely different and that there might be a place for cola in the world of cocktails. You think? The legend around the Cuba Libre is that the drink was created in Havana during the Spanish-American War by the American soldiers connected to Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders. Bacardi even goes so far as to say the drink was first ordered by Captain Russell, who ordered it with Bacardi Gold. As great as it would be if this story were true, it's been pretty well debunked since Coca-Cola wouldn't have been readily available in Cuba when the Rough Riders were there, and anyone who clearly remembers the birth of a great drink is too sober to be trusted. There's even some question about whether or not the drink originated in Cuba. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any great origin story for the rum and coke, which wasn't a surprise. Personally, I like to think it was some soda jerk back in Coke's early days who said to himself, you know, a little shot or two of rum would make this syrupy sweet cocaine even better. And demonetized. The heyday of the rum and coke was a couple of wars after Teddy led the charge up San Juan Hill. During World War II, the rum and coke had everything going its way. American distillers were required to produce industrial alcohol, which meant there was a shortage of spirits that opened up a lot of room for rum producers from the Caribbean who weren't subject to rationing. They weren't part of the war, right? It also didn't hurt that Robert Woodruff, who was running Coca-Cola and was friends with Eisenhower, came up with the brilliant marketing scheme of making sure American soldiers could buy Coke for 5 cents, no matter where they were, which meant shipping soda fountains and syrup all over the world as a way to boost morale and ensure Coca-Cola wasn't subject to the same rationing as everywhere else. To top everything off, so to speak, the Andrews sisters recorded a strangely hypnotic hit ode to American cultural imperialism, rum and Coca-Cola, about young girls in Thailand falling in love with GIs, drinking rum and Coca-Cola, and working for the Yankee dollar. What makes a Cuba Libre different than the regular old rum and coke is the lime juice. A rum and coke is 2 ingredients, rum and coke, served over ice in a glass. I've had them served in everything from cheap plastic glasses that feel like the Coke is going to eat through the bottom to big old German beer steins. It's a great mixed drink, especially on a hot summer day. A Cuba Libre is all about the lime juice. To make a traditional Cuba Libre, you juice half a lime, muddling the spent shell in the bottom of the glass with the juice to bring out some of the oils in the lime before adding the ice, rum, and Coke. What you get from a Cuba Libre is a bright island drink with all sorts of complex flavors and an interesting texture that is something completely different than a regular old rum and Coke. At this point, you're probably saying, whatever, under your breath. If the only difference between the two is one ingredient, then they're really the same thing. My response is to go make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich without the jelly, because that's how big a difference it is between these two drinks. Don't believe us? Try a taste along. Not wrong. Not wrong. Think about it. That is actually a very good analogy. Bread, peanut butter, and jelly. Bread and peanut butter. That's two very different experiences. And maybe substitute the jelly for a banana puree or Nutella. You also have a very different drink. So imagine a Cuba Libre with lemon or orange. It would also be a very different drink. Again, it's your drink. Make it the way you like. Experiment. For this taste along, you'll need a reasonably good rum, ice, some Coke, and a lime. Line up 3 glasses and fill the first 2 with ice. Pour in 2 ounces of rum and top off with Coca-Cola. In one of the glasses, add a lime wedge, giving it a squeeze before you drop it in. In the third glass, squeeze the juice of half of a lime, drop the spent lime shell, and muddle the lime with the shell before adding ice, 2 ounces of rum, and top the glass with Coke, and give it a good stir. Now taste the drinks and each version and see how different they are. In our tasting, we tried all sorts of variations with different types of rum, different types of Coke, muddled, not muddled, and what was clear after an afternoon of drinking was that we were drunk. No, that's not what it says. Of drinking was that the Cuba Libre is a cocktail in its own right. And the reason the Cuba Libre hates being called rum and Coke is because that's why it spends all its time hidden in the back of old bar manuals instead of being celebrated as a refreshing summer cocktail. And as the summer comes to a close, this was the drink I chose to close out the summer with. And then it goes into the recipe for Cuba Libre and a rum and Coke. We did start to look at this. This is reproduced down below. To make a Cuba Libre, squeeze the juice of half a lime into the bottom of a Collins glass. There you go. Toss in the spent lime shell, muddle the lime juice and shell together. Fill the glass with ice. Add in the rum. Top off with Coca-Cola and give everything a good stir. That's really all there is to it. So you guys know how this goes. I'm going to go ahead and take you into the and this is an abbreviated series of promos. This will just get us through the weekend and into Monday and Tuesday, and so just a little over 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and then I will come back to your comments on the other end. See you there. Where's the button? Where's the button? Here we go.
You're watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Netter's Network Retro Cinema, when there's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call? Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ernie Hudson. The Ghostbusters. It's a scary job, but somebody's got to do it. This week on Netter's Network Retro Cinema. Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Papa Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it somewhere else, but Boomer and Pacelli put a spin on it you likely won't hear anywhere else. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
This week, on Live from Sparkwood and 21, we'll experience and discuss an adult animated web series about the routines of a dull-witted man named Randy who lives with his frazzled wife and squeaky-voiced child. This web series, created and voiced by David Lynch, had been called the angriest cartoon in the world. Join us for Dumbland this Tuesday night at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Affiliates.
On board Scorpio, Vila intercepts a transmission from Serverland to someone called Cancer, referencing Domo the Ninth and 5 subjects. At first glance, the Federation transmission seems irrelevant. Then Scorpio's crew discover that they are the 5 subjects and the targets of her contract with Cancer, an infallible, hired assassin. This Tuesday on Last Call presents Blake 7 at 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
And Mark says that drink looks Klingon, though. Yeah, I have a theory. So the idea of a rum, we talked about rum a couple weeks ago. This idea of taking a cane sugar and fermenting it, I would imagine is probably universal. If you have a culture like the Klingons that are fermenting whatever can be fermented, right, and making alcohol out of it, they probably have an analog for rum. And one of the drinks that are talked about is Warnog, right? Now, they never are very clear on exactly, there isn't a very good description of it, so we can't analogize it to an earth drink. So when a brewery got the license to put out Klingon Warnog, which I do have some cans of, it was a German Dunkel, and so basically a lager, a beer, and I'm like, that's fine, because I got to collect, I got to have all the Klingon things, right? But when I think about the name Warnog, I honestly think that the writers, whoever it was that created that in the story, was thinking grog. There is that auditory similarity there. So I'm wondering if Warnog isn't more rum related than anything else. And in my headcanon, that's what I choose to believe. Love the promos like 70s TV. Yeah, with the retro cinema, the Saturday night at the movies, absolutely drawing from, I don't remember what network it was, but it was definitely drawn from that with similar music style and so forth. Absolutely. I want to welcome Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Good to see you, my friend. It's been good chatting with you over the past day or so in DMs. And if I did not say hi to Jesse Guajardo before, I apologize. Welcome, my friend. And Aged Boomer, speaking of the 70s, Aged Boomer and I are going to be talking about toys from the 70s. Dangerous toys. Deadly toys. The 70s were a crazy time in all manners. And, we're going to talk about some of the toys that I have personal memories of. So I'll tell you some personal stories. And in just a minute, I will tell you a personal story about rum and Coke. Yes, I do believe you're right that those images come from the CBS Saturday Night at the Movies. Very fond memory from my childhood. I remember the that footage of the end of the film strip being chopped, because in a projector, that's what you would do. Oftentimes, you'd have to clip the end when it got frayed so that it would go through smoothly, and kind of like the ends of your DNA over time, that gets shorter and shorter and shorter, and that literally limits the life of the film in this case. Let's see, we've got toys from other decades too. Yeah, well, at least one, absolutely. Mostly focused on the 70s, or at least toys that were available in the 70s. Memories or scars? Well, yeah, the 70s were a wild time, and we have some scars. If you've been following this channel for any length of time, we do try to share wonderful memories from our childhood, but we also share some of the traumatic memories from our childhood, things that the younger people wouldn't have any touchstone for. So that's why from time to time we talk a little bit about the variety shows of the 70s. Those were a kind of torture, and that we were subjected to, and we think you should understand our trauma. It helps you to understand us a little bit better. But so Cuba Libre is not a drink I am terribly familiar with, but I am very familiar with rum and Coke. You've seen me drink it every single time I release the Kraken, so you know what clip I'll be playing tonight. But when did it start for a young Troy? So I've told you the story about how I was dating this really, really hot, leggy blonde when I was in a Star Trek club my freshman year in college. So I was 20, I was just turning 21, right, when I was in this club. She takes me out, gets me rip-roaring drunk on Japanese beer and sake, and couldn't go home that night because I couldn't drive. I just spent the night, and literally just spent the night. I was in no condition for anything else. So that was my introduction to drinking, and the fact that you should drink in moderation if you want to continue to enjoy drinking. So then on the weekends, usually Fridays, surprise, we're starting to establish the pattern, right, for Friday night drinking. I would get together with a group of guys from that Star Trek club to play. Sometimes we'd play Starfleet Battles or Starship Simulator. The rules are very, very similar. Use the same miniatures. Or we would play Battletech. And I do mean the miniature games, with the, move and the hex and all that stuff. And it was at the house of the guy that ran the club. He was an older guy. Yes, this is as creepy as it sounds. And he, about, I don't know, an hour into the games, he would always, okay, who wants a drink? And just because I wasn't usually a drinker, I never spoke up. He goes, do you want a rum and Coke? And I'm like, I've never had one before. He goes, well, let's, and he makes me a rum and Coke, and I friggin' loved it. It was Bacardi. I believe it was Bacardi Gold, to be specific. That was my gateway, and I was hooked. And I was making the rum and Cokes every week, and he'd have me make them because I made them really strong, and I just loved it. Did WizKids buy up BattleTech? Are they making some sort of BattleTech clicks now or something like that? I'll have to look into that. I actually had no idea. MW4 edition was garbage, designed to please no one. That's fair. That is absolutely fair. But I'll tell you something. when it comes to your gamer girls, your geek girls, here's your girl. She has absolutely serious nerd cred, and I mean that in the most positive, most flattering way. She really does know her stuff. She has schooled me in the comments, and I mean that also in a good way. I know that's got a negative connotation, but I learn a lot from her. Mech Warrior Dark Age. Got it. See, I like the idea of the BattleTech miniatures having the click functions, but not the game mechanics of the clicks. I think what would be better is if they had like a base click that you could keep track of your heat on. You know, click it up, click it back as you cooled off, things like that. It would help a little bit. It's not necessary, but it would be neat, right? She says, thank you, I try. Yeah, that's fair. BattleTech was a big deal back in the day. Yeah, it absolutely was. What I did not do, even though I had the ability to here in Chicago, they had I think it was, they called it BattleTech, but it was you'd go to the arcades or whatever, and they had the immersive, you'd get into the cockpit and you'd be, in a virtual reality type thing, like you were really piloting the mechs. I'm pretty sure that was BattleTech, yeah. They had one at Navy Pier here in Chicago. I was there all the time. In fact, at the time, Netter was working at Navy Pier. So I literally could have gone on a regular basis if I wanted to. I just never did. It wasn't my thing. On break, coming to say hi. Good to see you, Robert's Infinite Realms. I was just talking about my drink for tonight, which will be a Cuba Libre, which is a, if it doesn't cause you to cringe, a rum and Coke plus. It is a proper rum and Coke cocktail. Currently, BattleTech is under Catalyst and Tops. Gotcha. MWDA set the history for 3067 to 3130, and the story had to follow that path. I understand. Yeah. If you want to put a name to it, you are absolutely right, Mark. So Mike Morrow, rest in peace. He introduced me to rum and Coke. I guess you could say he introduced me to rum in general by that extrapolation. And you guys are talking BattleTech there. Julie and I got remarried because Starfleet Command. Got married in general, because that's how you met. You met her at an event. See, both you and me both, because of that club. Yeah, I can't. I had my problems with Morrow, but my life would have taken a very different course if not for him, and I got to be thankful for that, So let me see. So tonight, of course, is Last Call, the dangerous and insane toys of the 70s, and bordering a little bit 60s, a little bit 80s, but mostly focused on the 70s. And the general what's going on. Members, I don't believe I posted a watch party this week. I've got to give that some thought. There will be a movie on Monday. Just unfortunately, it got away from me in giving you a vote on it. So we will see what I come up with. So there you go. That is really all I had, and I realize it's a little early, but I want to give us plenty of time to get over to Wilkie's movies and music, we want to go over, encourage him. Make sure you hit that like button. Let him know you came over from here so that he knows that we're thinking about him. He's part of the community, and he's good people. Trying to think. That's it. Coming along on my my Cantina video. I'm putting together something special I'm not going to tell you about in relationship to that, and hope to have that done before Life Day. So, guys, I want to thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me. Hope you will spend this weekend partying with me, because it's what I love to do. And let's get over to Wilkie's Movies and Music. Take care, and we'll see you over there. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high noon.